weight cutting. So
Mhm.
we manipulate carbohydrates and water for weight cutting, essentially. And
Mhm.
now Dan's carbohydrates, I was wondering if you had any insight on how to manipulate water in a similar way, or if you've worked with anybody that has.
It's well, the thing is you'll cut out a lot of your water weight, and so you'll be pretty dry all the time. I mean, you could drink less water and all that sort of stuff and actually get fully dehydrated, but you won't be retaining water, you know. And so, you'll notice that when you check your weight, it's much more consistent. It's much more consistent. So as long as you pee in the morning, you hop on the
Yeah.
scale, it's gonna be pretty damn similar. You're not gonna have these big ups and downs and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It's gonna be pretty steady. You'll naturally shred down, right? And especially with the amount of training that you're doing, most people actually find the difficult part is keeping on the weight. And I had
Yeah. I,
there was
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's like that's just you got to eat more meat, got to eat more meat. Okay, well, what's the other side? Don't eat enough meat. So if you don't eat enough meat, you're not going to be able to get the muscle hypertrophy. Body's going to have to just say, okay, well, we can't maintain this whole musculature, and you're going to slim down a bit, but you're going to get super damn lean. You're not going to catabolize your muscles until you actually run out of fat. But if you're not like necessarily using them as much, you won't that you they won't just need to be built up. Ryan Talbot, he ran into that. He was losing too much weight. We figured out, okay, you just need to find more meals. You need to stick in more meals. Okay, you have a morning training, eat straight after that. You don't have a morning training, eat breakfast. Then you have a 5 hour gap until your next training. That's 5 hours, sort of a minimum on what you want as far as a gap in meals and between training, meal and training. And then eat a lot after that. And you just got to get these meals in. You just got to get that food in because the amount that he was training, he was just losing weight. Well, then when he figured out how to get enough food in, all of a sudden now he's got the opposite problem. He's putting on too much muscle, which is usually not a problem. That's usually a good problem to have. But he's a decathlete. He's got to go fast. He's got to jump high. He's got to have a pole vault over like a big ass bar. So he's actually got to stay,
Yeah.
a bit, and he was already lean. He had no fat. He was just getting jacked. He's
More
just getting
jacked.
super
Yeah.
ripped, right?
Yeah.
And so he actually had to stop lifting weights as much. He had to pull back on the weights because the more weights he lifted, more muscle he gained. It was just like, it was a direct relationship. So, that's the thing. You can pull back a bit on the weights, focus more on the concentric versus the eccentric, right? Because like you were saying, you're
Mm.
doing more eccentric work. When you're doing that, so people don't know, concentric is when you're contracting the muscle, and then the eccentric is when you're sort of letting it down, sort of slow. And these actin fibers in the sarcomeres is the muscle unit in the cells. They sort of have these little hooks that sort of have these chemical bonding, sort of stick, and then they sort of go like this, and they go like that, and that's how they contract, right? If you stretch, it actually pulls all those out, and then there's not really many touching there. So when you contract, it's a weaker contraction. Instead of up here, we have 80% of these contract. Boom, is a huge contraction. But then when you're doing the eccentric, they're still bound, but you're elongating the muscle and it actually starts tearing it and damaging it. That's why you get that muscle damage. You get more soreness, like
Mm.
except we don't. And but you also get more hypertrophy, right? So if you do the
Oh,
concentric, right, where you just do like this is one of the things. This is one of the top trainers, trains some of the top NFL prospects, and he works with like at least back in the day, he worked with the top eight NFL prospects. Yeah, it had to be a top prospect. He only worked with, blue chip sort of guys, right? Hey everyone, really happy to announce a new sponsor for the show and for everybody down in Australia, Stockman Steaks, who are delivering high quality grass fed and finished pasture raised beef and other meats, flash frozen and vacuum sealed to your door, something that I've been enjoying a lot of myself recently as well. They also have a great range of specialty items such as high fat keto mince and carnivore beef and organs mince with liver, kidneys, and beef heart as well. So use code Chaffee today for a free order of beef mince or another specialty gift along with your order at stockmansteaks.com.au, and I'll see you over there. Thanks, guys. He did these things with strength to power ratio. Get your strength up, strength up, strength up, strength up, and keep your weight down. You go faster. That's all there is to it. And he was dropping guys 40 times by like half a second. It was like I forget the quarterback's name, but there's a quarterback that had a 5 second flat 40, dropped a quarterback down to 4.5 40 time. Just hauling ass, right? And
Great.
so one of the main things he did was a hex bar deadlift that more mimicked the natural explosive motion that you do when you're running or you're sprinting. And it was only the concentric. So you just lift it up and you drop it. Lift it up, drop it. So you wouldn't have that breakdown in the tissue. You could do it more often. You had less muscle damage, less recovery time needed. You could do it more often during the week, and you got stronger, but you didn't get bulkier, right? So you didn't put on more
Mm,
weight, and your weight to, and your strength to weight ratio got better and better and better. So you can do things like that. Like if you're lifting
that's cool.
weights, you want to focus on the concentric. So bench
Yeah.
press, you push it up, people sort of help you bring it down, and then you're just pushing it up. And then sort of lie
Uh,
down, pushing it up, sort of thing like that. Squat, same sort of
but
thing. It's a bit of a pain in the ass. You can do it with things you can drop the weights. That's easy,
yeah, you just draw them. Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
Olympic weights. Yeah, you lift them up, you drop them down, so you don't
Yeah.
go down. So that's a way that sort of a sneaky way to get the strength, but not get the bulk and the weight.
I
I
like
was
that.
yeah, and so there's I don't know if you know this guy Tyson Pedro. He was in UFC for a while. He was a bigger dude, sort of like 200 pounds, sort of. And he
I don't know.
played. Yeah, that's all right.
I
Yeah, but he did
I
MMA for a bit.
watched it. I know techniques. Well, I look at people and I'm just looking at the technique that they're doing and the method and the strategy. I don't really like care who they are,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough. Yeah, so he did. He was a professional rugby player as well. He played rugby
Okay.
league in Australia and went and started doing fighting MMA. Now he just switched into boxing and he went carnivore as well and was just getting absolutely shredded.
Yeah.
And he was saying, he's like, hey, how do I keep on weight? Like, fuck, I'm losing too much weight. And then it was like, again, you're just adding in the eating time. But I was just like, are you really worried about losing weight? Like, I mean, just maybe just go down a couple weight classes and
Yeah,
just
right.
destroy people. And and yeah, I mean, this may be a blessing in disguise, if you just cut it
Right.
down, 'cause, strength is going to stay. So it depends on what you're doing, but just depending on how hard you're working. I mean, you're training so hard that if you don't eat enough, your body's gonna just sort of stay a bit. You're gonna sort of just lose a bit of weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you can just adjust that. If you don't want to go too much, like you need this energy for your body, but you're gonna shred up naturally. You're probably not gonna have too much of a problem, making weight because you're just gonna be lean as
And,
shit all the time.
and
You know.
honestly, I'm crazy lean now. Like it's
Mm,
like people trip out now. Like when
mhm,
I like have to change my shirt or something like that in the gym and I take my shirt off or like I'll go to fights and like I'm cornering one of my fighters or whatever and I take my shirt off to put my training gear on to like help warm them up or whatever and
mhm,
people are like, "What are you fighting? Like are you
mhm,
coming out of retirement?" Like
mhm,
you're more shredded than you were in
mhm.
fight shape in fight camp like the day before your fight. Like it's wild, man. It's wild. And I was lifting then when I
Yeah.
was fighting and I just started like 2 weeks ago just started lifting it. So I'm really excited to see what happens now, right? Because I'm really low body fat, like very low body fat already.
Mhm,
I'm a I burn quite fast, right? I have a high metabolism. I always have had a high metabolism. It's never been really an issue for me to lose weight. Although I could always kind of gain weight as well if I would eat a lot or if I would work
mhm,
out really hard. I can grow pretty fast. I can lose pretty fast. So, um, yeah, I think I don't foresee it being a huge issue with cutting weight. Like I think that because now I have no carbohydrates, like the water is going to leave my system faster. So. Normally we do like the process is like, okay, you're eating your regular carbohydrates and then you're water loading, right? So you're drinking like 8.5 liters of water a day, right?
mhm,
For the last little bit. You kind of work up to that, but like the last like week or so, you're drinking like 8.5 liters of water a day, and then all of a sudden you cut your carbs, you cut your salt, and then you like stop drinking water, right?
mhm,
And you start just peeing out everything.
mhm,
So I'm I'm gonna try to do the same process. I'm just going to obviously there's no carbs, but I think it'll still act very similar. Like as long as I'm water loading heavily and
mhm,
teaching my body that there's always water to get rid of, then as soon
mhm,
as I stop drinking water, especially with having no carbs to hold it at all, and my body just not
mhm.
being used to holding it, it's just gonna go
Yeah.
on. And then because I'm a little bit smaller, like I've been thinking like maybe I can even fight at a lower weight class. It could be
Mm,
possible. Unfortunately, weight classes are like 10 pounds difference, right? Like mostly some are 15, but like I've always fought at 155 pounds, and now it would be like maybe I can make 45. Like there's a lot of guys that I see that are 45ers that are bigger than me.
mhm,
And if I could get to that weight, bro, people aren't gonna touch me because they got real long arms. You're gonna be way over there, buddy. Uh, but yeah, I'm really interested
mm,
to see how it works because that's one of the things that we just don't know yet as MMA fighters, and I'm sure some do that are doing it. Like obviously they have to cut weight. Um, but it's not anything that anybody's talking about on YouTube. Like, how do you
mhm,
cut weight on carnivore? Because like the diet's going to change things a little bit, and
mm,
it's going to be interesting to see. Hopefully, we can film it
mhm.
and show everybody what's going on.
Yeah, definitely. And the thing is too is that you'll see that you don't actually even need to sort of coerce your body into losing water weight and things like that. You just won't retain it. And so
Mm.
you'll get down to a weight and you could, you just aim for that weight now. Just do it like sort of a slow progression and just see where you want to get to and you'll get there, you know. And do it like a bodybuilder does, where it's just a slow progression, over time. They're just sort of they're just working towards a goal, and because you're
Yeah.
not going to be you're not eating carbs, you're not and plants and things like that, so you're not going to be retaining water. I mean, just plants as vegetables and things like that. Like I was retaining like, I don't know, 10 pounds, 15 pounds of water weight just from eating spinach, broccoli, and kale. And my water weight would fluctuate 5, 10 pounds a
That's
day. And I'm like,
crazy.
and I was ketogenic. I wasn't eating any carbs, not because I was doing keto, but just because like I noticed that anytime I have like bread or anything with carbs, my back hurt. And so I was just like, all right, well, I'm
Uh,
not doing that for like days. It'd be like 3, 4 days, my back would hurt. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm just not going to eat that crap anymore.
wild.
And yeah, and
Yeah.
so then I dropped just the vegetables and I dropped 23 pounds in 10 days. And it was just all water weight. It looked like I'd just taken like diuretics. I just like deflated, over the course of 2 weeks. It just someone just squeezed me out like a rag or something like that. And I'm sure I lost some fat too, but I think a lot of it was water weight probably. And that's just what it sort of looked like to me. Hey guys, just want to take a second to thank our sponsor, Carnivore Bar. I don't promote many products because honestly, all you need to be healthy is to just eat meat. For those times that you're out hiking, road tripping, or stuck at work and you want a nutritious snack that is just meat, fat, and salt if you want it, the Carnivore Bar is a great option. So I like this product not because it's just pure meat, but also because I want the carnivore market to thrive as well. And the more we support meat-only products, the more meat-only products there will be available in the mainstream. So if this sounds like something you'd like to get behind, check it out using my discount code Anthony to get 10% off, which also applies to subscriptions, giving you 25% off total. All right, thanks guys.
Yeah.
And so, and then I was just my weight didn't fluctuate. I went down from like 267 down to 243. And I
Wow.
was 243 on the nose every single day for the next 6 months. There wasn't a single day it
Uh,
went to 242 or 244. It's 243 every single day. But I was lifting weights, I was sprinting, I was
wild.
playing rugby. And because I felt so good, at 38, I went back and started playing high level rugby. And like my team here in Seattle went
Wow.
professional. And so I was like back in training with all these pro athletes. Felt amazing. And yeah, and so then after like 6 months, I hurt my knee, and so I couldn't finish the season, and couldn't really play in the season. It was sort of only had played a few games, and then I started losing weight because I couldn't train, I couldn't lift, I couldn't run, and so my legs started getting smaller. And I was pissed. I didn't want to lose
Yeah.
weight, because my body was transforming. I was losing,
Yeah.
shredding fat and stacking on muscle. I got down to like 6% body fat without trying. I'm just working hard. I'm
Crazy.
eating.
At
Yeah,
240?
yeah, yeah.
Wild.
243. So it was always 243.
243,
Yeah.
243.
And
The 3 pound
and
difference.
yeah, and eating until meat stopped tasting good. Just listening to my body.
Mm.
Wasn't counting any calories, didn't have any macros and like, oh, this is what I'm gonna have this meal, I'm gonna have 15 meals a day, and I'm gonna eat this, and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna take that none of that shit. I didn't take any supplements. I didn't have any meal prep. I didn't split up my meals. I ate 2 pounds of amazing ribeye every day. And that was it. I ate once every 24 hours and I felt fantastic. I didn't want to eat any more than that, you know?
Man.
And one day I didn't even want to eat that. I'd like been training. I'd like 3 hours of lifting, 3 hours of rugby. And I'm like, all right, great. I'm going to go home and eat a big ass steak and go and crush this out again tomorrow. And everything in me like, ooh, don't do that. Steak sounds awful. I'm like, how is that possible? I love steak. It's my favorite thing ever. Why would that not sound good right now? Couldn't figure it out. But I was just like, yeah, I was just like, don't eat it. Don't do it. I was like, that's bizarre. What the hell's going on? And I said, okay, well, I'm going to cook a steak anyway, but I'll like reverse sear it, take like 2 hours, make it this like amazing ass thing, and give myself some time to settle down. So I said, I watched a movie, chilled out, steak was ready, had it, and I was like, I guess I could eat a little. I started eating it, and it was just like I got like a quarter of the way through, and I was just like, I am just not enjoying this. I just really don't want to eat this. It was amazing steak. There's nothing wrong with it, but I just wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I was really nervous because I had a lot of training the next day. I had like, I don't know, 6 hours of training the next day planned. And I was like, shit, all right, I really need this energy though. Not realizing that I was, bulkier then. So I still had a lot of fat on me, so I'm like, probably had, like 100,000 calories, sitting there waiting for me. I didn't need anything. That's what I realized. And the next day I felt fine. Didn't eat it, put it away. The next day I felt fine. Felt absolutely amazing and no problem because, you, I sort of came to the realization, you don't the energy that you use now for your training today did not come from your meal this morning or last night. It came from 2 weeks ago, right? And you put that in your fat, and then now you're using the fat, right? And so you don't need to eat
Okay.
the same day or the day before, or whatever. And then I thought back on all my games before I realized all this stuff. That all the games when I felt my best, I never ate that. I never ate on game day. Never ate. That was like just an unbreakable rule. Like that I tried that a couple times. It was just like never again. And so I always played fasted, always play. I always tell people, always play hungry. You want that little edge, that little killer instinct that I need to go out and kill something. I have to go and fight for my dinner and have that sort of edge. And and then I even started feeling better if I had dinner the night before, I didn't feel as good. So I would like skip dinner. I may not even eat on
Wow.
a Friday if I had a Saturday game, or maybe would eat way earlier in the day. And I started feeling better doing that. And it naturally sort of went into that. And now I know why, because you just want to be running on your body. You don't want a bunch of food in your gut and slowing you down.
So in fighting, we make weight and then 24 hours later we fight, right? So they
Hmm.
give you a bit of a breather to like build yourself back because everybody's dehydrating and
Hmm.
and bringing themselves down like 20, 30 pounds. It's a lot.
Hmm.
It's pretty unhealthy.
Dangerous stuff. Yeah.
But the amount of food that people are and juice and just sugar that people are ingesting after weigh-ins, like if it was more beneficial to be fasted when you're competing, it's like the absolute opposite. Like
Mm.
people are stuffing themselves so much it like hurts. They're like it actually hurts. And they're
Yeah.
like, oh, but that's not enough carbs, right? That's not the right number yet. I have to eat X amount of carbs in order to be able to have the energy to perform tomorrow.
Yeah.
Man, there's just
Yeah.
so much benefit. There's just so
Mm.
much benefit.
You replace your glycogen on the fly when you're in ketosis, where they got to keep sucking down sugar gels and sugar water and crap like that,
Yeah.
you know?
And
So
you
yeah,
can't even
no,
you can't even do that.